I get out faster and easier since I'm more younger, and it's more easier for me to get out the back than my mom can.
Jeremy Marney lives with his mother inside their van on Apollo Way in Santa Rosa.
These are for the window for the sun, so the sun doesn't come in the morning.
Their vehicle is just one of dozens parked here, each housing a family in crisis. Those with vans and RVs are the lucky ones. Others only have tents and boxes.
I never really noticed that many homeless people before until the fires happened.
This whole block full RVs, all the way down, all the way around there. There are like 80 or so.
And Hoffer has lived in this RV for the past 3 years, but he says in the past year, he's seen the number of homeless in Santa Rosa increase. He believes it's because finding affordable housing was next to impossible, even before the Tubbs fire struck.
Well, the place that I lived in before was, I was paying $710, they want $1,500, right? And it's a dump.
It's a ripple effect which could continue to force even more families out onto the streets.
We predict that probably in the next year there will be a significant uptick in homelessness.
Jenny Lynn Holmes is the Senior Director of Shelter and Housing for Catholic Charities in Santa Rosa. She says there was already a 6% increase in homelessness in the first 6 months after the fires.
People who have entered the new rental market are pushing out our lower income, not because of any fault of their own, just because there's not enough housing in our community yet.
That's the issue. Building is happening here in Coffey Park, but it's not happening quick enough. And the people who would be living here are actually taking up rental properties elsewhere in the city. And now those with lower incomes aren't able to get properties to rent for themselves.
That is putting people into precariously housed situations where they're doubled up, tripled up, and eventually that becomes unsustainable. And that's when we see people enter the homeless system of care. It's typically a year or so after an initial crisis.
But Holmes says her group, Rebuilding Our Community, or Rock-Sonoma County, has already rehomed more than 100 families. And she says there is a light at the end of the tunnel, as both the city and county have low-income housing projects coming soon.
There are a lot of affordable housing and housing construction being proposed, and what's exciting is it's being proposed for the first time and looking at density, looking at going up, you know, all of those things, and so that's where we can actually rebuild better than we were.
Meanwhile, Marney says he's not leaving Santa Rosa, no matter how tough the living situation gets.
Why stay here?
This is home.
In Santa Rosa, Doug Johnson.
My family and friends are here.
Fox 40 News.
We should mention that Sonoma County is